So Oprah made headlines yesterday for her guest appearance at the DNC back in Chicago, and there was a pretty interesting conversation that she had prior to that with Al Roker, where she talked about her age and reaching the age that she's at. Let's take a listen.
I'm just curious, what were your thoughts about 70?
I was excited to make the number. I'm excited to make every number. I remember many, many years ago as a young girl, I had always thought that I would never make it to the 60s or 70s.
Really?
I had this number in my head that I thought, okay, I'm going to be out by then.
Why?
And then when I passed the number, I don't know why. I think I had a vision of it when I was a kid, and I think it is because under the circumstances that I was living when I was a little girl in Milwaukee on welfare with my mother, and what I now know that if I had stayed in those circumstances, I probably wouldn't be here. You know, I wouldn't be here healthy and strong and vibrant.
I did not realize Oprah was 70 years old.
I was going to say the same thing. I had no clue she was 70.
Me either.
I thought she was like early 60s.
Right, but that's because Oprah, she's still outside. She moving, she looking good. She, you know what I mean? But also, too, I thought it was pretty interesting because I think people see Oprah as the icon that she is right now and forget how much she's had to come through. So to hear her say, and I hear my homies say that all the time, but it was pretty interesting to hear a woman say that, like the circumstances that she went through. She didn't even think she would make it to be this old. And not only go ahead.
Yeah, if you know Oprah's story, you know the extreme she came from. But I mean, you know, as a person born in 1978, you know, 46 years old, she kind of been Oprah our whole lives.
For real.
You know?
No, for real. So I thought that was interesting. Now, moving on to another icon, Nicki Minaj. So Nicki Minaj went live on Station Head, and she had a few things to get off of her chest. One of them, you guys know, she recently launched her label, and she had something to say to artists who declined to sign to her label.
A mother tell somebody they don't really want to sign with Heavy on it, but then they'll go and sign with the white peoples. And guess who the white people's finna call? Always. Oh, Nika, Tanya, Mirage, Betty. Oh, they always make sure they get the attention of the barbs. So you would be surprised, and I'm not talking about doing ad-libs on any songs, if their name is not on the Pink Friday 2, they're not a Heavy on it artist.
Now, that is pretty interesting because currently, and for some months now, there has been speculation that there is a little discourse between her and Ice Spice. And when I say discourse, I don't mean like a friendly back and forth. I mean like the girls are speculating that Nicki Minaj does not care for Ice Spice whatsoever anymore. She was very supportive of Ice Spice in the beginning. She put her own song. She, you know, crowned her the princess of hip hop, all that stuff, and then things just fell apart. There were early reports that Ice Spice was supposed to sign to Nicki Minaj's label when the label was first announced, and then it didn't happen, and Ice Spice signed to a major. So
Ice Spice signed a long time ago, though. But before, I thought Nicki had that label.
Yeah, but so I'm assuming that whatever came out about Ice Spice's deal came out around the same time that the conversations began to happen about Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj or whatever their situation was supposed to be. So people are putting two and two together and basically saying that this is her speaking directly to that. And then she says, like, if your name isn't on Pink Friday 2, which Ice Spice's name is not on Pink Friday 2, that you're not, you know what I mean? Like, basically don't ask me about these people. Outside of the Ice Spice speculation, though, I think she has a valid point about artists not signing to her. And you know, people can pick and choose where they want to do their business at.
Right.
But if the labels are going to pick up the phone and call Nicki Minaj about you anyway because you got a feature from her, or like you've been seen around her, it's like, why not sign to a Nicki Minaj? She is Nicki Minaj at the end of the day, so you're going to get the same look, so why not?
Man, Nicki needs to narrate every single Halloween theme show. When she be on them Twitter spaces or whatever, her voice be sounding so ill. Hello, it was a dark and stormy night, and she was creeping through the woods. She just needs to narrate every single Halloween theme show there is, okay?
But Nicki been OG at that. She got the character. She got Roman. She got all them people. They be calling her crazy, but Nicki know what she doing. She animated.
A lot of people don't want to sign with artists, though, because they feel like artists don't have the infrastructure or they're always too busy to actually run a label. And we've seen that several times. I mean,
I can feel that.
But you see how successful Lil Wayne's label did. You see how successful Jay-Z's label did. But a lot of people do feel that way. I hear that.
Yeah, but how many of those labels... How many of those labels, and I'm not saying this about Nicki, I'm just saying how many of those labels were successful because of the artists. I mean, you know, salute to Lil Wayne, but Lil Wayne also had people like, you know, Cortez Bryant. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of times it'd be those people who are really the brains of the operation.
That's what I said, the infrastructure. You know, most people want to make sure the artist has the infrastructure. Same thing with Rockefeller. Like you said, it was Dame and Biggs that was running the day-to-day, you know?
But a lot of it, too, I feel like with the artists today, like the girls, like Ice Spice, who are getting signed because they're so big on the internet and maybe you love their music, a lot of people feel like the labels have lost their touch of really feeling the music and really understanding how to strategize and not just look at numbers. And Nicki Minaj has gotten credit a couple times. Like, I know with Meek, remember that song that they put out together? Meek, what's the name of the song? Where it was them two on the actual...
Yeah, it was the #1 record, yep.
And there was a conversation about how she was the one who told him, no, you need to put this out. That's going to go for the radio. That'll... Yep. Like, she knows what she's doing all the time. So, I mean...
No, clearly. I mean, she's been in this game a long time. She's still putting up hits, so she knows what works.
Yeah, so, I mean, I feel her on this one. I don't always agree with Nicki, but I felt her on that one. Mm-hmm. But speaking of Ice Spice is about to make a acting debut that I don't think you guys would ever have imagined. Let's take a listen.
And don't ask me about nobody.
Don't
ask me about no.
Yeah, we filmed that a couple months ago. Let's just say I don't really look like myself. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see how that looks on camera. I'm in it real quick. Have a little cameo type thing. But I was so nervous.
So were you on set with Denzel?
Yes, I was. And he has like a very like powerful like vibe. And I was just like a little intimidated, but mostly nervous. But he just kept saying like, don't be just don't be nervous. Like, congrats. Like you're great and stuff. And so he was really encouraging and sweet.
Yeah, so it's a crime thriller. It's a reinterpretation of the Akira, I'm going to say I'm going to mess his last name up, thriller High and Low. But I would have never thought I was going to put Denzel Washington and the Queen of Fart in the same conversation, ever. Like that threw me for a loop when I heard that. But shout out to her.
We're not doing that. She's in a movie. She's in a movie with him. She's not in a conversation with him.
Wait, there's headlines that put Denzel Washington and Ice Spice in the same conversation.
No, she's in a movie.
Not in the same conversation in the movie.
But I mean, but you have to, when you mention the headlines are literally saying Ice Spice set to appear in Spike Lee's High and Low with Denzel Washington.
She might have a pop-up role.
Yeah, y'all know what I'm saying? I would have never thought that I was going to see an Ice Spice cameo in anything that Denzel Washington is doing. And it's no shade to Ice Spice, but it's like the caliber of Denzel Washington is like, you don't just do pop-up cameos.
She didn't say she's acting with him like a acting role. She has a cameo.
That's what I'm saying. She could play a number of roles. I mean, think about a movie like Training Day. Think about, Dr. Dre in Training Day. Think about Snoop Dogg in Training Day. Like, I can see her playing some type of role.
She's got a supporting actress.
Her personality is just so like dull. Like, I love the music, but I can't see her in a movie.
You said she dull?
Yeah,
dull?
She's very monotone in her personality.
I wouldn't boring, see her. Basic. You just called Ice Spice basic,
Damn.
Lauren? Okay. Tell me more.
You love putting words in my mouth. Like, you really do. I said what I said. I love her music, but I can't imagine her
as
acting.
A cameo, though, it could be just like a quick little cameo, 1-2 thing.
And Young Miami, I love her too. But did you see?
Yo, if you think she whack, say she whack, Lauren.
Did you see Young Miami in the BMF cameo?
Yes.
And how'd you feel about that?
She needed some work.
And don't play with Denzel Washington. You don't need work with Denzel Washington.
Yeah, but
Lauren just shot at Ice Spice and Young Miami.
But Young
for
Miami
what?
even said
Young Miami listens to this show every morning.
Young Miami said it was her first role. She said she needed some work, but that was her first role. But we don't know what Ice Spice is gonna be doing.
I wish her the best because, baby, I would have never thought I would read a headline that said Ice Spice and Denzel Washington.
Lauren said Ice Spice trash on all levels. That's crazy.
Did you?
You know what I want to see Nicki Minaj do? I want to see Nicki Minaj read It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown out loud. That's what I want for Halloween.
What's wrong with you? All right,
that's what I want.
Can
you imagine Nicki? I'll find a pumpkin patch that is real sincere, and I'll sit in that pumpkin patch until the great pumpkin appears. That's what I want.
Why are you holding that cup like that, Auntie?
Because I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you shoot. All right.
Yeah, you've been shooting this morning, Lauren. I ain't gonna front.
I'm listening to you just shoot on all the female rappers.
All right.
That's what I'm hearing.
Damn, we ain't got no music. Charlamagne, who you giving that donkey to?
Speaking of shooting, we need a man named Antonio Riano. He's a fugitive. He was a fugitive on the run for 20 years for killing a man, but he got arrested. You'll never find out. You'll never guess how.
All right, we'll get into that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.